Welcome to the Chi-Town Cigar Podcast, the podcast where everyday Chicago guys light up a fine cigar and get everything from sports and current events, the hobbies, life's little moments, and everything in between. Whether you're here for the cigars, the conversation, just some good laughs, we've got you covered. So grab your favorite smoke, settle in, and join us for some laid-back chats with the Chicago twist. Now it's time to put some smoke in the air. Hello, Marty.
Hello, Mike. Good to see you again.
Doing, buddy? Good to see you.
I'm doing fantastic. Let me get up closer to the mic here.
There we go.
Had a few computer problems, but we are on our way.
Dude, technology is supposed to be our friend, and it's becoming our enemy. The more and more we do this.
Got to be smarter than the technology.
I know.
Which is getting harder. But I'm doing fantastic. Had a great weekend. Got to participate in my granddaughter's 3rd birthday party. So it was fantastic. 10 or 15 screaming 3-year-olds at a party. That's always good.
Yeah, that's fun. That's fun. So we're smoking something different tonight, or we're doing a review, I should say. Do you want to share with everybody what we're smoking?
We are smoking the fantastic Solita Red. I don't want to give away my review too early, but
yeah,
dang, this is good. Starts off with a little bit of
this is
kind of a blast of, it's not, I wouldn't call it pepper, but like a little zing, like a cinnamony zing. And then that tones down. And I've smoked one before. This is my second one ever. And yeah, it's as good as the first one.
Teddy's joining in to us. Hello, Teddy.
Right. Teddy.
Yeah, this is good. This is the first time I've smoked this. So right on the initial draw, I'm really. This is a it's an Ecuadorian Habano Grade 1 dark rosado wrapper with a San Andreas.
Only
Mexican
Grade 1 for stuff.
Yeah, with the Mexican San Andreas Negro binder, and it's a Parejo, a 6 1/4 by 46. So definitely something different from Mr. Saka. Although it's staying in right in line with the oh my gosh, I can't talk. Sobra Mesa line.
As opposed to the Sabromosa line?
Yes. Holy good God. Oh man. It has been one of those days already. So
yeah, so like last year, he renamed the regular Sobra Mesa line the Solita line. And now then he came right out with the Solita Red.
So is he going to follow suit like everybody else and go with the colors? Are we going to get this Sobra Mesa, oh my gosh, purple and orange? And
that'll be interesting to see. He's usually a little more creative than that, but maybe.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, that'll be
I mean, he's got the one with the blue wrapper, and that's the Brulee blue. And the Brulee, which is not to be confused with the Solita. They're all Sobra Mesa. So it's a little confusing, but I think I'll remember this one because it's really good.
Yeah, it is fantastic so far. So, what are your Cubbies doing? My gosh,
I don't know.
They're leading the NL Central, 11-8. They're leading the Central.
Holy smokes! I gotta get my subscription to Marquee Sports Network then, I guess, so I can watch.
I know. Well, not that I'm ever going to root for the Cubs, but I made a switch over. I got rid of the only provider for what is it now? Chicago Sports Network or something like that. We got rid of it the other day, but that's okay because my Sox are 4-11 in the gutter right now. But on the high note, they did beat the Boston Red Sox 2 games over the weekend. So 2 out of 3 they took from Boston.
There you go.
So, but now the next 3 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we've got the A's, and then we're off to Boston to play Boston for 3 more games in Boston. So
they're in last place already.
Yeah, they're 4-11. Minnesota's just above them. It's just bad. It's bad. I don't know. 4 wins. The first one was opening day. They got us all hyped. And now, okay, they pick up 2 from Boston. Great. But they turn around and they lose. So it's like, what are you guys doing to us?
Come to the north side. We'll accept you. It'll be okay.
From her grave and pull me down.
No.
Oh, I know.
So when the Cubs were in the World Series, did you root actively against them?
I didn't root actively against them, but I didn't root for them. But I do remember back to the Bartman incident, and I remember that day, and I'm like, oh, there were some people that I knew that we had to make sure that they still had their wrists intact when that was all over and said,
yeah, that was bad.
Yeah. So
seemed like the whole city was behind it when they won the World Series.
I was glad we won it first. So, we still have sort of bragging rights on that.
And I got to go to 2 of those games because
you really?
And I put my name in the ticket lottery and got 4 tickets that you could split up, 2 on one day and 2 on another day. And of course, I went to both the home games that they lost.
Well, here, so not that I'm going to age myself or anything like that, but when the Bears won the Super Bowl, I went to those 2 playoff games. And here, you want to talk about how times have changed. I went and stood in line because that's the only way you could get tickets back then in 85 is you stood in line. So at 11 o'clock at night, we were at Soldiers Field and stood in line. And take a guess how much money I had in my pocket to buy those tickets. And I bought 4 of them.
Let's see, 1985, you probably had 4 of them. I bet they were 150 a piece.
They were $25 a piece.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
I had $100 because I came back and my neighbor came up and found out I had the tickets and said, "Can I buy them from you?" And maybe I didn't buy 4. Maybe I bought 2.
Still.
Because but I mean, I'm like, yeah. And so I sold him 2 tickets for $100. So I'm like, I was able to pay my dad back and hey, here you go. So yeah, it was but both games. I was there for both playoff games at Soldiers Field. Back in 85 and then back in college for the Super Bowl.
And
which really sucked.
Did you go to the parade?
No, I was in college. I was at Western Illinois University, so I was like, okay, yeah, hey, there it is, and no.
I went to the parade when the Cubs won.
Did you?
That was crazy.
Yeah.
It was this weird euphoria. I've never experienced anything like it. Like this weird crowd just of euphoria.
Yeah.
And I think they said there was like the largest crowd to ever witness a parade in the entire world or something.
Oh, I believe it. Yeah. I not that I have a fear of people, but those big crowds, like when the Blackhawks won, I didn't go to any of those. When the Bulls won, I worked those and saw the devastation. So,
I didn't see any devastation, just a lot of people and a lot of really drunk people really early in the morning.
Was there looting back for the Cubs? Because I know for the Bulls, when the Bulls did it back in '92 and all that, there was looting and they were smashing in store windows, and then they finally sort of started putting that out. So I think by the time the Sox and the Cubs got to those championships, it was sort of easier to calm people down. So
Yeah.
And then next Thursday, big day. It's NFL draft day.
Oh,
So we'll have to
forgot
think
all
of
about
something
that.
unique to do for next Tuesday's show. But that'll be fun.
Maybe we'll draft a cigar.
Do we steal that from another podcast and do our own draft? We'd have to see if Teddy could join us. We might have to push that back and see if Teddy. We need at least 3 of us to draft.
A fantasy cigar draft.
Yeah.
We could pre-draft our top 10 cigars of the year and see how well we do.
Well, I'm telling you, for anybody that's listening, which I think is, well, there's 6 people right now. Thursday, we're going to have a special podcast. We are going to do a PCA recap. PCA just ended yesterday. I watched a ton of content, thanks to Bob the Cigar Guy and Chief. They did a recap every night at 9 o'clock, thanks to Villiger Cigars. And so they sort of went through who they talked to. He had some challenges with Eric from Black Star Line. So it was really cool on that, but he had some challenges. Yeah, he did talk to Eric. Okay. I sort of helped him through as he was doing the recap. He was showing, he's like, I don't know what to show what this one is, and I'm not sure what this one is. So I was able to quickly type in going, that's Mr. Fahrenheit, and I forget what the other one. Oh, our favorite one.
Lollybella, Lancero.
No.
Rosewood.
Yeah. Rosewood. And then he did show the Lollybella. He's like, I'm not sure what this is. And I'm like, so I was able to chime. So it was good. I mean, he did a good job. I look forward to his interviews. He talked about quite a few interviews that he did, but holy cow. I know we have a list of new releases that are coming out, but I swear to God, PCA just seemed like there was a ton more.
Yeah. I think there were more even since we talked last week.
Mm-hmm.
We were like the Tuesday before I had looked at everything, and now there's even more that happened.
Yeah. The overall feeling is there is a ton of excitement at PCA. There was a ton of excitement at PCA. They said that it just felt like it was more uplifting than it's been before. Davidoff was back. So the big 4 are all back at the show. So that's exciting. And so Thursday at 8 o'clock, we're going to try to be on. Teddy's going to be on. I'm going to try to join him. I don't know if you can make it or not, but we're going to try to.
You might be able to, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to try to go through some of the stuff that was talked about or was released at PCA. And I started making notes. I'm like, holy cow.
Yeah. I would need to go watch all of Bob's live streams to catch up because I was like out of pocket. I hadn't smoked a cigar in like 4 days before last night. So
oh wow.
I have a fully clean palate. And
nice.
It's dancing with this Solita Red. So Mike, what is our mission tonight?
Oh, our mission, we're going to talk about, it's tax day. So for most people.
Oh my God, I forgot.
You got to go?
Yeah, here.
I'm out.
Right now. You want to watch me do TurboTax?
Yeah, there you go. Yes. So it's tax day. So as we were talking about this throughout the week, I thought, what a better time to talk about budgets in cigars, because for those of us that have been in the industry, in the hobby or the lifestyle for years, we sort of have a ballpark idea of stuff. But for those that are new or just getting into the lifestyle, you definitely want to go in with your eyes wide open, because this can quickly spiral out of control. Correct me if I'm wrong. you can find yourself $10,000 in debt before you know it.
Yeah.
And then you'll be like, how did I get here?
There's always the new thing coming out that you got to try. And you can only buy a box full, so you got to buy the box. Or there's some fantastic sale on something that you really like that you can't pass up. And it can get out of control really fast.
Yes. And so we're gonna talk about, highlight some things. We are not Dave Ramsey or any financial guru, but we're gonna sort of give you what we think works, what's worked for us. But for anybody that's in the lifestyle or getting into the lifestyle or the hobby, whatever you want to call it, you've got to remember, or you should remember, this is disposable income. We are burning up money. You know, I think that's why you see two age ranges for people in the cigar industry, cigar lifestyle, cigar hobby. Those that are 20s, 21 to 28 to 30, I guess. And those of us that are 50 plus. Because for those 30 years, you're raising kids and you ain't got disposable income. And if you do, it's very limited.
Or time.
Yes. Yeah, I did see somebody asked, it was what's his name from West Tampa? Rick Rodriguez asked a question on Instagram today, and I didn't get a chance to answer it, but how long do you normally spend smoking a cigar? And it was 30 minutes, 45 minutes, or an hour plus. And it's an hour plus. Steve Saka will say, when you get one of these, you better have the time to kick back and relax and enjoy it. And just,
you don't want to scream through it. That takes the fun right out of it.
Yep. So the first, then that's, I guess, the first bit of advice, or the first piece of information, is to share. And one of these days I guess we could do this, but you want to figure out your spending limit. What do you have available to yourself to be for the month? If you've got $100 extra, that $100 extra should be $100 extra that you've already put money aside for, an emergency, that you've already got your savings set up for whatever. So it literally is, okay, I've got $100 extra, and that's what I'm going to use for my cigar budget. And you might think $100 doesn't go far, but I think you're going to see that it'll go a lot farther than what you think, but you have to basically be willing. I don't want to say compromise, but you have to be willing to go, I'm not going to smoke these $30 cigars every day, so that's what I think, the first thing you've got to look at is go, okay, I've got extra money, fun money, disposable income, and what can I do with, what do I want to do with it? And if you're married, I'd highly recommend talking to your spouse. I would not recommend doing this on your own or keeping this secret. Obviously, it's going to be tough to keep it secret, but she starts seeing you go out to the deck or to the backyard or to the garage and smoking a cigar. She's going to start to wonder, where's this money coming from? Are we sharing credit cards? Or are we not sharing credit cards?
Funny story. Like, how Smoke Inn, when you order online from Smoke Inn, they have a little box down below that says, if you want, you can click a box that they'll put a note in that says, here's the cigars you won, or, here's a gift from so-and-so, stuff
your
like
Secret
that.
Santa. Yes.
Right. And I always thought that was a joke. Like, No, I went to a cigar event one time, and there was a guy there with his wife, and I was listening to their conversation. I figured out that he was actually telling her that he won a lot of the cigars that he bought.
Well, and it's funny because I've had to, if I win something, when I won the first lady thing, I literally took that video and showed it to my wife going, hey, I want you to see this. When this comes in the mail, this isn't crazy stuff that I bought. I won all this. So no, again, and people will do that. And I think some of it is out of being funny, but I think some of it is, guys try to hide stuff. It's sort of like alcoholism. You're hiding your cigar addiction, and hey, honey, I didn't buy this. I won this, and
yeah,
we have some friends of ours that have him and his wife have their own bank accounts. I don't understand how you do it. I don't understand that whatsoever, but yeah, they each have their own bank account. So I don't know. But the next thing I would recommend is before you sort of set up a cigar budget, for the first month or two, track what you're spending. Track what your cigar expenses are. Track how much am I spending, how many times am I smoking a day? How many times am I smoking a week? What am I spending on that? And that includes butane, Boveda packs, a humidor, all those little things, to go, okay, I want to track this so that when I'm setting up a budget, I'm setting up a budget that is actually going to work out correctly. And there's quite a few different online services you can use. You can there's an app called You Need a Budget. There's Mint Mobile, that'll be an app, or
just create a spreadsheet.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. Use your notes in your phone. Back in the day when I was creating a household budget, the guy who sort of put me onto it said, you and your wife both get notebooks, little handheld notebooks. And I don't care if you run into the gas station and pick up a $2 bag of chips, you write that down in the notebook. Because that's all of your spending. That's everything you're spending. And at the end of the month, sit down, total everything up, put it into categories. And now okay, here's what I spend every month, or what I spent for the last month on stuff.
Right.
And that way you have it,
I used to do that with Intuit, that I would import all my credit card bills and track my spending that way when I was younger. Yeah, it's like Teddy got caught up in the win. He wanted to win on Cigar Bid.
Oh, that's worse than eBay, and I've gone down that rabbit hole, and that is worse than eBay, because you all of a sudden go, I really want this box,
right?
And now you're bidding, and now you got to realize, wait a minute, I just overbid what I would have paid for it if I would have went to a brick and mortar.
Yeah, that was the whole thing when eBay first came out. It was everything was bidding, and you really get caught up in I want to win that, and next thing you know, you've bid on 10 boxes of cigars.
Yeah. And that's even worse, because you can't hide that from your wife, because that comes you're like, well, how did you get that, honey?
Yeah, they play on your psychology there. I mean, they know what they're doing with that kind of stuff. Even the people who run all these contests online for Summer of Saka, or Ronnie does all these giveaways at Secreto. They put the swag out there, and you got to have the swag to show off. Got to have your Dunbarton cap that you're wearing there, and got to get the box of cigars for that, or the mug. I don't have any mugs down here, but that's easy to get caught up into. Some people have these extensive mug collections, and they now they got to have everyone. Now they've got like 10 mugs, and Am I not going to get the next one? I can't do that. I'm 10 mugs into it now, and there's always going to be a next one.
Yeah, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit here. But so once you track your spending, you want to go ahead and break it down. You want to go ahead and break it into categories and be able to say, okay, this is what I'm done for my daily smokes. And I always break it up into 3 categories. Your daily smokes, what do you smoke every single day? And we'll talk about that in a second. Your premium, which is your weekend or your special event cigars. And then your accessories. Again, do I need a new lighter? Do I need a new cutter? Do I need butane? Do I need Bovida packs? So you need to have that works into your budget just like everything else does. Just you can't say, oh, that's accessories. I'm not going to, well, it's still part of the hobby. It's still part of the lifestyle. So you need to keep track of that so that way you know where you're at and be able to say, okay, I'm gonna keep this all, because again, it can, I'm gonna buy that lighter. Next thing you know, you're spending $75 on a lighter, and you're like, holy cow, I just blew my budget. Or your wife's going, did you really need a $75 lighter? Did you really need a $300 Saka cutter? So
no, you don't really need that.
No. Yeah. And Marty and I and Teddy have all talked about daily smokes or budget cigars. And I have a budget cigar.
Uh-oh. Mike's stuck. So yeah, we've talked about budget cigars. While Mike gets back on here. And we even did a playoff of budget cigars. And in my opinion, I think you can get some really good budget cigars if you test around and find something you like, that are going to give you some enjoyment every day, and you won't get tired of them. Especially in the morning, I'll find a good Connecticut that I really like with a cup of coffee. So I usually tend to get my budget cigars more in the morning, and then at night I'll have something special like this Solita Red. And I think here comes Mike back. He's back.
Hey,
good to see you.
I don't know what that was.
Yeah, so I was saying I tend to find, like, I'll do my budget cigars more in the morning with a cup of coffee, or like you do probably on your way to work in the car.
Am I back?
Yep.
Okay.
You paused for a second there, but
yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know if it's the wind that we have out here tonight or what, but yeah, so I do the new Cuba Corojo. It's a pack of 25. And again, Teddy was talking about this, but cigar bid. I'll go on a cigar bid and I'll bid $30. And if I'm getting those at 25, at 25 sticks at $30, I'm $1.10 or $1.05 a stick or whatever it is. And it's a great smoke. It's a great everyday morning smoke. I want something as I drive to work. So that's the one I grab. I just started picking up the Quorum and the Havana Q from JC Newman. Again, both good budget cigars. And that's the thing, is if you want a daily cigar, you probably should look at that, especially if you're trying to set up a budget. Look at a good off-brand or a good
short filler cigar.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I think that's a great way to keep yourself going and being able to enjoy it. And that's my day smoke. Right?
You can get some pretty good cigars for under $5 if you look around.
Absolutely. And that's the thing. As we're doing this podcast, and you'll hear Marty and I and Teddy say, this is a budget cigar. And our on our line, correct me if I'm wrong, we're sort of at the $11 and under mark for our budget cigars, correct? Is
Yeah,
that what we sort of figured? Yeah,
under 10. Yeah.
yeah, under 10. And you can get them. The bronze back is MSRP of what, 875 or nine and a quarter, something like that.
All the McAuliffes
Yeah,
are under there.
Yeah.
I just saw Cigar Page was selling the Tennessee Waltz for $143 for a box of 20. Like at $7 a stick, that is a fantastic cigar.
Yeah. And again, you can sort of venture into some of these and pick up a 5-pack of them and just sort of go, okay, hey, I'm spending $10, but I'm going to try these out, and be able to go, okay, yeah, this is a good cigar. And that's where your daily cigars should be. Your daily smoke should be in that budget area, and they should be your budget sticks. They should be, $2 to $10. I mean, if you're smoking 30 cigars, if you're smoking a cigar every day at $10, there's $300 right there. So you gotta sort of look at going, ooh, yeah, and then your premium or your weekend or your special event cigars. Again, how many are you smoking? My weekends are, if we're not herfing, are probably 2 to 3 cigars additional a day. So I don't know.
Teddy doesn't want to know about a budget.
Yeah, he's still single.
Yep.
But yeah, so I mean, again, if you're a weekend warrior and hey, I want to smoke, I'm going to smoke 2 cigars on Saturday and 2 cigars on Sunday. At $10 a cigar, you're at $40. You jump up to 15, and now you're up to what, $60. So you got to look into that, and then your accessories, your humidor supplies, your butane, like I said, your lighter, your cutter. What are you looking at? What are you trying to put together there, and what are you trying to buy and purchase and keep going? Yeah. So
just start when I was something simple. Like, you don't need those things to be super nice. Like if you want something nice, put it on your Christmas list and say, yeah, exactly. I want this on my Christmas list.
And that's a big thing to say. It's down a little bit more, but I'll say it now, is your wish list. Put your wish list together. Hey, I want the Cigar cigar lighter. I want Calibre cutter, circle cutter, or whatever, the X, I forget what they're called, and put a price down next to it. Okay, now okay, hey, that's what I want, Same thing with cigars. Hey, the Solita Red looks really good. Marty and Mike gave it a good review. I want one of those. It's $17.95 MSRP. That's, that could be one weekend cigar, or it could be your weekend cigar. Yeah, depending upon what your budget is.
Not an everyday smoke.
So, generally speaking, on what I came up with, and I think it's fair, is a 50-30-20 split. So your $50 or your 50% should be your daily cigars, depending upon how many you're smoking. So again, this is something you've got to go back to, and you've got to track. The first thing we talked about is track your cigars and what your experience is and your expenses. We talked about breaking it down, but if you're smoking 1 cigar a day, that you're guaranteed. I'm always smoking a cigar. I got an hour drive to work. I want a cigar. Okay, fine. Or I want a cigar on the ride home from work. I have an hour drive home. Okay, so that's 25 a month guaranteed that you're going to be smoking. For the most part, or I guess 20. I guess 20 is probably more realistic. But 20 times 10 is $200. So that's what you got to sort of figure out. Going, okay, well, I've got to figure that into my budget. Do I have $200 for a daily smoke, or do I go to the budget cigars, to the short fillers, and I get 25 cigars for $30. And holy cow, I'm already pushing into the next month. And you do that enough times, you're gonna be like, wait a minute here. I've got a whole month of cigars I don't have to buy, because you buy four 25 packs. So that's 4 months. Well, that's actually 5 months, but you paid for 4 months. So, so that's the 50% of your budget. 30% of your budget is Teddy. Yeah, that was only one person I know. But the 30% of your budget is your weekend or your special event cigars. I don't know. I don't think we've recommended a $30 cigar, have we, since we've been doing this?
I don't think so. Like, I don't think there's any $30 cigars that I smoke on a regular basis.
No. And I'm telling you, when I even go into a cigar lounge, in a brick and mortar, and see something over, when I see something over $20, I start to cringe. It's like, are you kidding me? Yes, Teddy's going to smoke Opus X's every day. I'll give you his phone number if you want to call him and ask for a loan.
Yeah.
But 30% of your budget, on a $200 budget, you're talking $60. So that's doable. That's 4 cigars. So you're right around the $12 mark, $13 mark. You get some dang good cigars on that. Or you play around. You pick up a Solita Red for $18 and go, okay, I'm going to sort of go in the $10 mark for these other 3. Again, you're right there. So, and the flip side is the 20% for your cigar accessories. I'm not pushing any online stores or companies, but look for deals on butane if you need it. If you need, pick up a 2-pack for, $12, $14. Now you've got, I'll guarantee you get 2 cans of butane, you're probably good for 6 months.
At least.
Probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
Boveda packs, I was not a fan of this, and I did not think it was going to work. And I'm sure Teddy will chime in when I say this. You can recharge Boveda packs.
Yeah.
So buy a 4-pack of 69% or 65%, throw 1 or 2 into each of your humidors or how many humidors you have, and be able to have a rotation. So if you need 2, buy 4. So that way, when the 2 crust out, you can take those, put the 2 new ones in, and then all you do is get yourself a Tupperware dish, a little cup that you can put some distilled water in, put it in that Tupperware dish, put your Boveda pack in there, put the lid on it, and come back in 3 days, and they're recharged. I was amazed. Bob the cigar guy said it. The cigar guy said it, and I thought, there's no way.
I've heard a lot of people doing that.
Yeah.
Do you dip it in the water? Or you just have like a cup inside the container?
Yeah. And I did it with, I had the big 75%, the ones in the box. I took it out of the box, threw it in there. That thing recharged. I think it took about a week for that one. But the other ones, and I'm sorry, Boveda, that were.
It's not, I'm sure it's not a secret.
Yeah. But you're going to save money. There you go. Now you're saving 20% of your budget.
I think ideally you want to do it before it starts crystallizing.
Yeah. And you'll know when you reach in there and feel it, and you're like, okay, this one's a little bit, but
I've got some I need to do that too right now, but I keep forgetting to do it.
I was absolutely amazed. But again, so you bought your butane, you've got your Boveda packs that you're recharging. Guess what? That miscellaneous, don't spend that miscellaneous on cigars. Leave it. Let it carry over. Let it carry over for 5 months. Now you've got $100 in there, and now you can go do and buy Teddy's Opus X and celebrate that, hey, for 5 months I didn't have to buy any accessories, and I can buy an Opus X, or I can go buy my Calibre cutter or my Cigar lighter or whatever you want. So That's the key. If you're finding, hey, in the wintertime, keep your budget going. You might not be spending $100 on cigars or your budget. Keep your budget going and carry that money over so that when April, May, June hit, you've got, hey, I only spent $50 in January and February. I only spent $20 in December because it was Christmas and I can't go out and smoke or whatever. So now you've got all that money, and another thing I'll share with everybody is we use the envelope method when we were really on a strict budget, and you'd put money into it. You'd put cash. I know that's a dirty 4-letter word right now is cash, but you put cash in an envelope. So now at the end of the month, you went and looked and said, I'm restocking for the next month. And wait a minute, we got money left over. That goes into your extra expenses, and you just put that aside. So same thing if you do it with if you have 3 envelopes, daily, premium, and accessories, and all of a sudden you open up the accessories and go, hey, there's still $40 sitting in here from I didn't use it. Leave it sit there. Let it carry over to the next month or whatever. So let's see. We talked about planning your cigars. Stick to the plan. You basically gotta be able to understand that budgets aren't the funnest thing to do. They're tough, but in the end, you're going to appreciate being on it because you're not going to be $10,000 in debt in 6 months. You can get caught up in a smoke-in. Abe just got done talking about and posting that the Summer of Saka is going to be bigger than it's ever been. Last year, I didn't buy anything from Summer of Saka. I love Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, but I didn't want to get caught up in it. I didn't want to get caught up in if I spend $300, I get 2 drawings or I get 2 tickets into the drawing. And it's a great marketing ploy because you're putting stuff into your cart and you're like, I'm only at $250. I need another $50 of Saka's stuff to get to the $300 mark. Well, guess what? There ain't no $50 Saka cigars. So now you're at the either, okay, I'm going to throw the bronze back in there for $85, or you know what? I'm going to throw another thing. Hey, I heard that Stillwell Star Bayou is going away. I'm gonna throw a box in there. Well, that just bumped you up to, I think they're 145, 150. So now you're short for the next level. And it's you sort of build yourself up to where you're going, holy cow, I just spent $400 and I really wanted to spend 175.
Yeah. If you do that, just like anything else, if it's not going to end in 20 minutes, if the order's still going to be there the next day, even if it might not be there the next day, just wait. Unless it's something you absolutely have to have, wait a day and see if you feel that interested in spending that money the next day. Because a lot of times the next day you're like, yeah, what was I thinking?
Yeah. Well, and the worst part about it, I mean, it's good for Abe, it's good for Smoke Inn, is stuff sells out. So you're like, oh, I'm gonna pick up a thing of bronze back because they sold out last time. Last week they were sold out. They're in stock now. I'm gonna pick one up. I'm gonna pick up 2. And then you get 2 and you're like, why the heck did I buy 2 of these? Yeah. I'm only smoking one once a week. So I don't need 2, but you got caught up in it.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll tell you, this has nothing to do with the cigars, but the Emerald Turtle. Oh, you get a coin. And I was like, oh, I really want that coin. Oh, I'm like, I've got coins. You can't see them. I've got my coins. I'm like, I'm not going to get caught up in buying a box of cigars for a coin.
What's the Emerald Turtle?
It's the new Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust Smoke-In exclusive.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Oh. But I was like, oh, I want, and I'm like, I don't want that. And this year I'm really trying to stick to a budget. I'm trying to do more for the podcast and being able to buy cigars that I see on the pod that I want to be able to smoke and review on the podcast. So it's like, okay, I'm not going to get caught up in some of that. And it's easy to do. Listen, we're speaking from experience. We are speaking from experience. So
Yeah. Don't try and keep up with the Joneses. Like,
no.
if you see people posting these cigars and you feel like you just got to have them, like, you don't really need to have them.
And that's exactly it. I mean, whether you're on Cigar Dojo, whether you're on a Facebook page, you're going to see people posting mail calls, and you're going to see 5, 6 boxes. I was surprised last summer. There was a guy, I want to say 2 weeks in a row, spent over $1,000 with some Osaka. And I'm like, again, if that's his budget, that's great. Fantastic. But if it's not his budget, I'm thinking, how do you say to your wife, hey, honey, I just spent $2,000 on cigars?
It might have been the guy I met that checks the box for you just won the cigar.
Probably. So, but with saying that, the next thing is look for deals. If you don't sign up for every brick and mortar place that you can find, you're nuts. I'm an Aganorsa junkie. I'll be the first to admit it. And Cigars Daily posted something about Aganorsa, and if you buy this, you get a tattoo sticker. And I'm like, oh, okay. And I started looking. I'm like, I don't need the cigar sticker, and the deals weren't that great. But look for the deals. Look for who's running a good sale. I this isn't a lot of times. This isn't brick and mortar. I'm not taking away from brick and mortar. We firmly believe in supporting brick and mortars. And sometimes your brick and mortars will run a sale. Smoke In, Secreto, Cigars Daily. Those are technically considered brick and mortars. It's brick and mortars that also have an online presence. So, I'm not taking anything away from Abe. Abe has some phenomenal deals, and they have some phenomenal customer service. If you're paying 100% for a cigar, I think you're doing it wrong. Do you agree?
Yeah, unless you're buying singles, which is also a good way to go, which we've talked about before.
It's even with Smoke In. If you go to Smoke In's website, you can build your own 5-pack. And I think he gives you a discount in there. It's not a great discount, but you're doing a 5-pack.
Yeah.
So, build your own 5-pack out of there and turn around and go, okay, I'm spending, $44.95 or $54.95, and I just got 5 premium cigars that are normally $12 a piece, and I got them for a discount. So,
right.
Look for deals. Look for deals when it comes to shipping.
It can also be like bad though, because like if you sign up for every email, sale on from every cigar site, you're like inundated with 20 cigar emails a day, and you're like, oh, you have to say no 20 times.
You do, and I've gotten the habit now where I can just swipe and go nope. Oh wait, okay, here I want to look at this one. So yes, yeah, that's definitely true. But again, it comes to discipline. It comes to the idea that I want to take a step back. Hey, this is on my list. This is on my wish list. Okay, it's a 5-pack. I really don't want a 5-pack, but it's on my wish list and they're on sale. Hey, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pull the trigger on it. Okay, great. The wish list is only going to help you. It's only going to help you stay focused and not help you turn around and buy some crazy stuff.
Some cigar, box of cigars you've never even tried that someone said was good, but you don't really, they're not on your list, and
yep,
you don't even know if it's good. It might not be for you.
Yep. So that's that aspect. A couple things, and we sort of hit on it. I just sort of want to talk about it a little bit. Is is shopping strategies. You know, there are options. We said watching for deals. Staka is releasing 2 sampler packs this year. Those are real good options. Cigar of the Months, if that can fit into your budget, you're going to get 4 or 5 cigars, usually around $55. I forget what Smoke-Ins is. But, you're going to get 4 or 5 good cigars at I think it might be $49. I can't remember offhand. But that could be, that's 2 weekends right there. If you say, okay, hey, I'm smoking 2 cigars, 2 premium cigars a weekend, one Saturday and one Sunday. Well, there you go. That's 2 weeks right there. And you've only blown $45. And now that's what it takes the thinking out of it. Hey, I don't have to worry about trying to find something. And this last one that we just got, I was excited because it's on my wish list and I don't have to worry about it now because it's the Enclave by Eladio Diaz, the AJ Fernandez. So I wanted to have that to review. It's a new release this year, and it came in the Cigar of the Month pack. Nice. So I'm like, bonus. I don't have to worry about trying to go out and grab that one. And so those are some other things you're going to find out is, hey, they throw a great cigar in there. Hey, we want you to try this cigar. And that's the big thing with PCA. A lot of these retailers go to PCA going, hey, we have a Cigar of the Month club. We want to advertise your cigar in our Cigar of the Month. Can you give me some sort of a deal? I've got 300 people in it right now. So I need, X number of boxes, but it's going to be highlighted in our thing. Oh yeah. Okay. And a lot of the brands will turn around and they'll cut deals for the retailers. And then those retailers will pass that savings on to you. Abe in his Cigar of the Month club, every month you get a code for the cigars that are in his pack for 15% off. So again, going, oh, hey, I can buy a box of these for, 15% less than what everybody else is paying them for. So that's good. The other thing is, with shopping strategies, find a buddy, find somebody and say, hey, do you want to split this box? I don't have the money to spend $175 on this box, but I have enough to split it. You want to split it? You might find 2 or 3 people. You might find 4 people. Box of 20 and you're each getting 5. You guys are saving money. It's always better. I sound like a retailer now. It's always better to buy a box. You're going to pay a lot less per cigar when you buy a box. So find a buddy to split. Aganorsa's come in box of 10s.
Or even a buddy like a bundle of 10 without the box cost thrown in it.
I still wish they would start that. I still wish some brands would go to, you can buy a box or you can buy a bundle. You're going to save yourself $15 if you don't buy the box because we don't have to pay for it. So yeah, that's the shopping strategies.
Also, another strategy is if there's a deal that the cigar, wherever you buy cigars, runs every year, like the Hanukkah box or the Christmas Advent calendar, you can get a good assortment of cigars at a good deal.
Yeah.
And Abe always throws in some pretty rare things.
Absolutely. Yeah. If you're new to the hobby, get involved with a cigar dojo, the socialites, the Aganorsa, the acolytes. Talk to people. Hang out at a local cigar shop, cigar lounge. Talk to people. Hey, who's running this? Who's running a good deal? Hey, because you're gonna get guys are gonna tell you, hey, listen, you go over here, you can pick up. Cigars are usually 10% or 15% cheaper than what you get online. Oh, okay, great. Some of the small cigar shops, they have a humidor in them just to have a humidor, but their prices are way down. There's a couple by me that I go into that I know I'm stealing from them. I know that, but it's, hey, they've got stuff that's been sitting there. They want to move it. So,
Right.
how's that Solita Red coming along for you?
Still good.
Yeah.
I don't know that I would say the flavor's changing. Maybe a little bit. Getting more cedary towards the end.
Yeah, I'm about halfway through, I guess, but I've been doing a lot of talking.
Yeah, I think I'm halfway. I had to touch it
Yeah.
up one side because I wasn't rotating it,
But yeah, it's these are definitely packing with flavor. These are definitely
yeah, he hit it out of the park with this, and he's gonna have a hard time keeping up with demand, I think. Even
it's
at
going to be
$17 a cigar.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how he keeps up with demand this year, because I think he's got, like I said, he's got two sampler packs coming out, and I think he's got 4 other cigars that are coming out. So for six new product releases this year, I think that's what I saw. Maybe I could be wrong. I'll have to go back and research it, but he's got a bunch.
The year of the Duque,
Yep,
which was
the Emerald.
a one-off.
Yep, the
And
Emerald.
the Emerald Fish, the Salida Red. I can't remember the other one. The Word of Saka.
Oh, the Word of Sake. Yeah. So I mean, it's
Yeah.
he shared something on social media today, I think it was, that they beat their sales from last year on Sunday afternoon, I think is what he said. So all of Sunday afternoon and all of Monday's a half a day was all pure. Okay, we're setting ourselves up even worse for next year, And so I'm sure, and he said he didn't think they were going to beat it. What they sold last year, he didn't think this year was going to stand a chance. And then to beat it by Sunday afternoon and go, holy cow, we still have another full day left. It's kudos to him. It's kudos to Dunbarton and Steve. I know he said he's unavailable now for a while. He's going to go home and sleep. And from everything I've heard,
he's on fire. They always do a cool thing there at PCA where he gives away he has like a watch drawing at the end of the day.
I didn't see it last year. They
put it on.
Showed it on Facebook. Yeah. So I didn't see it. So hey, I got a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you know what happened this day in Chicago history?
It's the 15th, so tax day. Is it tax related?
It's not tax related. And let me see if I can give you a clue here. It's definitely something that is transforming, and I'm not clowning around.
Transforming, and you're not clowning around. Did they catch John Wayne Gacy?
Mm-hmm. No. That's a good guess, but
that's Displain's history.
That is. But it's funny you say Displains, because this has to do with Displains.
It does.
It does.
Clowns and Displains, and it's not John Wayne Gacy. The only other thing in Displains is the airport. Have something to do with the airport?
It does not. It does not. You ready for this day in Chicago history?
Yeah.
1955. The first McDonald's franchise restaurant owned by Ray Kroc opened in Des Plaines. This marked the beginning of McDonald's transformation into a global fast food empire. With Kroc's vision of standardization and scalability taking root, is a pivotal moment for Chicago and the broader history of American business.
Yeah. And then he moved to San Diego and bought the Padres.
Yes. Yeah. But yeah, I didn't realize that. So April 15th, 1955. The first franchise McDonald's. It's crazy.
I can still remember when the first McDonald's opened in my hometown. It was a small town, so McDonald's opening was a big deal.
In Illinois?
In Illinois, yeah.
Oh. I have a McDonald's story, as long as we're on to it. I used to work for when I retired, I worked for a fast food. I guess it's not even fast food. I worked for a restaurant that sells chicken. That's all they sell. And so I would work the morning shift. And every morning, we opened up at 6:30. Every morning at about 7:15, a car would pull in. And the guy driving the car would place an order for some food, pull up to the window, and say, "Tell me something nice about my car." And we would compliment him on his car, and he would pay for his bill and tell us to keep the change, and he would drive off. The tip was about $500.
Wow.
Yeah.
Every time?
Every time. And
Nice.
there was three of us working. So we would split it 3 ways. And nobody knew. Nobody's like, I don't know what this guy does, but every day he would show up. And so finally one day I walked up and I was at the window and I said, "I've got a question for you." He said, "Sure." I said, "What do you do that you have this ability?" And he goes, "First of all, let me tell you," he goes, "I pick out a restaurant every year and this is what I do. It's just what I said, "Okay, yeah." I said, "Well, okay, it's none of my business, but you know the clam boxes at McDonald's?" I go, "Yeah." He goes, "I invented those." So, I'm like, and I think those are pretty much used industry wide now. So
Yeah.
I'm sure the royalties for that are ridiculous.
You
So,
should have asked him what restaurant was he going to pick for next year so you could go get a job
I
there.
could go over there. Yeah.
I want the morning shift on Sunday.
Yes. So, but it was funny because he was all about his car. And he goes, I don't care. He goes, but I love seeing these young guys pull up next to me and look over at me. And he goes, I'm thinking I've already had that car. He goes, I don't keep a car for more than 6 months.
Oh, it was a new car.
That one was a was it, does Porsche have an SUV? I'm not that.
I think
whatever it had,
the Cayenne.
this car that he had.
It's a new car though.
Yeah. That one had the lights on the roof. So it would like starlight. He could change the ambiance of the interior of the car. And he's like, "Look at this. I've got stars on my roof." And I'm like, "Oh, okay. Right. That's what money gets you, boy. You can have stars on your roof if that's what you want." So
at least he was generous with his
yes.
money.
He was very generous and very very nice. It goes to show you that there are some rich people out there that know how to take care of us little people.
Yeah.
So that's why my cigar budget grew.
Cigar industry is full of those people. So make friends with some rich guys.
Yes.
You might get to smoke your $50 cigars.
Yes. So I think that wraps up this episode. I hope we were informative. I hope we shared some deep knowledge with all of you. Thursday, 8 p.m., same channel. We will be going over PCA. Sheldon might be joining us from Black Star Line to be able to talk about his experience at PCA. If not, we will be sharing all the news that's coming out of PCA, everything that's been happening, all the stuff that's been dropped. I saw Michael Knowles had a rather large display or a large booth for his company. It was it looked like I'd say a pirate ship, but it's probably more like a Mayflower, I'm sure. So
that would make sense.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. So, but
I can't wait to see all the stuff that came out of there. I'm sure we'll be watching videos.
Sheldon will be there. Sheldon will be joining us. So it'll be a jam-packed house on Thursday. There could be 4 of us.
Yeah.
We might have to, we're gonna have to squeeze in and
create a new overlay for the StreamYard.
I know. Holy cow. We need 4 of us. Jeez. But But it was a great night. Like I said, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope we were informative, and I hope we will see you again next week.
All right.
Take it easy, Marty.
Have a great week, everybody. Talk to you later.
See ya. Bye.